In the Central Virginia region this year, we've had quite a bit of rain. And what that means is we have quite a bit of mold, under houses, in houses. There's different techniques to treat it and try to make sure it doesn't come back. I'm in a small crawl space, decent because I don't have to be on my belly crawling around. And in this situation, when I see white floor joists, what that means is they had a serious problem. They probably scrubbed it, cleaned it off, and then they coated it, which usually means a rosin, which usually means latex paint. And that's fine. It's expensive. And then they came back, maybe the same person or a different one, and did what's called an encapsulation. Now this is what I consider a partial encapsulation, in which the vapor barrier is brought up the block wall. And what they did was they sealed the seam with foam, which you can see there. And you can also see that they sealed the foundation vents. There's one right there, and there's one to my left. There's one behind me. Now, when they did that, they cut off circulation in here. And I, several weeks ago, pulled down parts of the encapsulation, and it was moist behind that. And I have another little video about this. But it's very rare when you see clear plastic used for these encapsulation systems. And that's because if it's clear plastic, you will see the condensation on the back side of it. And these systems trap moisture in the block wall. And the foam, as it is applied here, also traps the moisture up there. And what I'm going to do on this job is I'm actually going to undo this encapsulation. And I've already opened up the 3 foundation vents. And in just a second, I'm going to pull down a little bit more of this plastic, and we'll see if there's any indication of moisture behind it. And sometimes when I'm doing this kind of stuff, I come across a surprise. And there's my surprise. I'm doing this one-handed, so... And what he's probably feeding on is the jumping crickets. Feed off the mold. So, I will advise the owner of this and we'll just on to my left I'll continue this because I think you can see what I've done already. If this, okay, yeah. I think you can notice the darker part of the block. And excuse the non-focus here, but I think you can tell the darker. And that's moisture behind the plastic, and it stays there and it finds its way up into the house. So let me figure out what I'm going to do with my little friend back there, and we'll continue. So here's a little better look at the moisture that accumulates inside these hollow block So that's where our little black snake was up there. He's traveled on here, and that's how he got in here. This is pretty standard. When they dig the foundation, they dig around the perimeter of the house so the masons can get in there and lay their block. And then to come across that ditch around the house, they put a lintel. But there's your moisture right there. A little better look than behind me. And that's what stays in there with that plastic. And over on this corner, the homeowner has a problem with the downspout, so I'm fairly certain that that corner is going to be wet as well. So the question is, when you have a crawl space that's giving you trouble, how do you treat it? And my suggestion would be you treat the simple things first. And you just use common sense. You check your downspouts, your gutters, make sure all that is taking the water away from the house. If you do not have that plastic on the wall, check your block. That'll tell you where the water's coming in. And then listen very carefully to the sales pitch about encapsulation, because you can see for yourself what's happening right there. And nobody would know until you took it down, because you cannot, that's translucent. You can't see through it. Except, as I said, there is a little video on this site where they ran out of that stuff and they put clear plastic, and that's to me, that was a good way to show everybody what I was talking about. So listen carefully, use good judgment, because this encapsulation and this foaming is very, very expensive to do. And you want to make sure you're spending your money wisely.